All right, everybody, this will be a quick one here. Morning to all politicians and running for president 2024, part 95 or so in there. Some quick things. Kind of thought about, you remember when Obama was in office, you know, he kind of said, oh, maybe they need their own army. Or this, maybe it was when he was running for president. And I think there's a lot of people on the left thinking that now, to get rid of the police and get their own people in power, stuff like that, which is really scary. Another thing he signed, you know, you hear all these mayors and everybody saying, oh, you know, first off, they're lying about, oh, Trump's sending troops in. He's sending troops in. No, they're federal law enforcement agents. And he has a right to send them in there to protect federal buildings and the public, whatever he needs to task them to. So they're playing that game, you know, trying to make him look like a tyrant, a Nazi, you know, Pelosi, who's clearly senile at this point. You know, Joe Biden is evident he has something going on, but she's clearly senile. That, you know, Trump says, you know, he's going to have law enforcement at the polling booths, and that's to keep you from voting, blah, blah, blah. She lost her mind. No, you know, it's not the Trump supporters who were standing outside of polling places and harassing people going trying to vote. Wasn't them doing that. And if you go back to Obama's elections, it was Black Panthers and stuff like that who were outside intimidating. And you watched people leaving the Republican convention being attacked in the streets by these hoodlums. These absolute idiotic people screaming in people's faces about all kinds of crap. You know, it's really, when they look back in their lives, they're going to be like, how could I have been so stupid? Why was I standing out there screaming my head off so stupidly? You know, at somebody walking down the street. You know, if you have a cause or something worthwhile to protest about or make your voice known, you know, that's one thing. And then if you do it in a proper manner, you know, I'm tired of these reporters keep saying peaceful protesters. I'm sorry. You want to have a peaceful protest, you get your permit, you go to the park, you maybe have some music there, candlelight vigil, you know, sing songs, speak to reporters in a calm way. You know, a peaceful protester does not show up in, you know, knee pads and chest protectors and a club in their hand and all this kind of crap. I'm sorry. And then threaten people walking down the street. That is not a peaceful protester. They do not walk their neighborhoods in the middle of the night screaming no justice, no peace, and wake up and all that kind of stuff. I'm sorry. You're a bunch of liars. They're not peaceful protesters. They're anarchists. You have all kinds of people mixed in there, and I see just a lot of white punks on dope out there doing a lot of this crap too. Why they're doing it, I have no idea. Their mommy and daddy didn't raise them right. They've got nothing better to do. They're strung out on drugs. I don't know. I don't get it. They're definitely not. You are not like the civil rights marchers and the white folks who joined the civil rights marches back in the 60s, 50s, and 60s. You ain't even close. You know, there were real systemic problems in the country back then. I see a lot of people making up systemic problems now. Is there racism in this country? Yep. But it's not only white people who are racist. There are individuals who are racist of every race on this planet. And you know, you're free not to like somebody. You are free not to associate with people, but you can't discriminate and hurt that person because of the color of their skin. Your opinions, you're allowed to have them. And I'm not trying to endorse racism here by any color. But I'm just saying, there's a lot of people who have, as messed up as they are, very opinionated views on race and this and that and everything. And as long as they're not hurting anybody, as long as they're not acting in a way that discriminates against other people, they can go on and be their own pitiful self their whole lives if they want to, and not take the time to get to know people of other races. That's their prerogative. They want to live a life like that, full of hatred and everything. As long as they're not going out and hurting anybody or discriminating or making policies and stuff that hold other people back or discriminate and stuff, let them go on with their own sad self. But if they're judging people or calling people names, this and that and everything, or I believe even holding rallies like the KKK does should be outlawed. Burning crosses and things like that. It's 2020. There should be no place for that in our society, just like there should be no place for people like Louis Farrakhan calling white people the enemy all the time. You see what I'm saying? Louis Farrakhan can hate me and every white person on the planet, and he'll swear up and down he doesn't hate white people, but he calls us the enemy all the time. But as long as he doesn't spread it and propagate it, and an individual in the Klan, whatever, can have his own pitiful, sad views and stuff, as long as he don't try to, disseminate it and propagate it to other persons or intimidate other persons into believing what he believes. That's fine, but you have people like them. There's no difference between Louis Farrakhan and a Klan member. Sorry, some of you don't want to hear that, but it's the truth. Both say the same thing. Both have something against the other race. Both are supremacists. Louis Farrakhan is a black supremacist. He might say an African supremacist. That the African people are, they're the only ones, they're God on earth. And the other races didn't even exist until some mad scientist named Yakub genetically engineered us all. So according to Louis Farrakhan, we are all inferior to the black race. We were created by some scientists, not God. And according to him, until you get to the white race, then the white race was made to subjugate all the other races. By the scientists, and taught ways to do it, to trick the African people. So, and this scientist was African, by the way, black, for those of you who don't know the story. So, I don't like racism any way, shape, or form. Run into them out here occasionally. People say things and stuff, and I blow them off and go on my way. Don't some people can say blow them off. Means don't pay any attention to them. Just in my book, they're losers. So, and that doesn't matter what color they are. They all spew this stuff from their mouths that somebody has taught them somewhere along the line, and they spew it like it's the gospel, and they have tunnel vision, and that's with politics, with religion, whatever it is, people get tunnel vision. And it's really hard to get through to them any way, shape, or form and tell them, hey, no, look, you need to look at it from the other side. So there's no sense in getting into it with them. I'm not going to change some white supremacist mind walking across the truck stop parking lot who strikes up a conversation or something, and it's apparent to me he's spewing racist ideas. go my way, and depending on the situation, might tell them to, fuck off or whatever. Or might nah, you're an idiot or something, and just break off the conversation. The same thing, you're a bunch of black guys standing around a truck stop, white motherfuckers, this and that, and stuff. Try and avoid it, but there's times, they'll try and get you involved in a conversation. Hey, what do you think about this? Try and avoid conversations like that, when you can see it's going to be something obvious that it's not going to be a conversation. And you're not going to change anybody's mind about anything. One of the imams, I think it was Imam Ali, says, and other people I'm sure have said this through history, you can't win an argument with an ignorant person, because there's no debate. There's just their tunnel vision and them spewing what they believe and what they've been taught. And in some cases, it's really not their fault that they are, well, I guess in a roundabout way, as individuals, we can always look at ourselves and blame ourselves, but we're products of our environment, and like, so like diehard Christians who deny every other religion around the world and stuff, and who've said bad things about the Prophet Muhammad, this and that, and it's like, and you try and tell them and reach out to them and tell them, look, there's only one God. There's been many prophets, and Muhammad was one of them, and you can't get through to them. So in one way, it's not their fault that they are can't see or won't take a look and break out of that tunnel vision to see if maybe the other person is right. Maybe part of that's fear in their own selves or what have you, and maybe part of it's hatred that's been instilled since the attacks of 2001 there. So there's a lot of contributing factors, and in some cases you can't blame somebody. I'm not saying you can't take it, if they're doing something, if their opinions and their education is causing them to do things that hurt other people, then you have to seek some kind of action to stop that, legal action, what have you. But if that's just their mindset and stuff, and they just don't understand or don't want to understand. There's really nothing you can do, and nothing, you can't beat them over the head and try to make them see your way. You can, and maybe it's like planting a seed. They run into a couple people here and there and tell them, no, actually, like myself, I got no problem telling people, hey, I used to be a Christian and believe exactly everything you do the way you do. I used to give out tracts and stuff and witness and all that stuff. And then after 9/11, then I saw how vehement part of the Christian community became, and of having had Muslim friends earlier in my life, and the Christianity that I believed in when I became a Christian, I had my beliefs, but I didn't denounce other people's beliefs, or say they weren't right. It was just like, hey, you guys believe in Jesus too? And they're like, yeah. So, okay, well, that's cool. So I never had no problem with the people of other religions because their books were different, stuff like this, till after 9/11, and I kind of fell into it a little bit with these, maybe it's like in the Quran it says from sin comes repentance. I kind of fell into that whole anger thing and only Christians are right and this and that. And then I remembered I had Muslim friends earlier in my life, and I never judged people by religion or anything like that, and here I was doing it. So I started questioning myself, what the hell am I doing? What am I thinking? And so I started really questioning the people who taught me the things I knew about Christianity and about religion, and I started asking God a lot of questions. And when I started reading the Quran and studying different things, I learned a lot about, there was a lot, when I was a Christian, I'd be reading the Bible, and I'd be reading and getting one meaning from something, but then, the preacher, whoever, would be telling it a different way, and I'd be like, oh, sorry, Lord, I got that wrong. Sorry, Lord. I didn't understand. And then I found out a lot of stuff I was right about, and they were wrong. So, and then I also found, reading the Quran, that I was wrong about stuff, too. So it's been a process. You learn, hey, to trust your instincts kind of a little bit on some stuff, and other stuff you go, oh man, I need to learn more. I need to keep seeking, like the Messiah said, seek and you will find. And so I kept seeking, trying to find the truth for myself, and also for my son. That was one of the big things. He was born in 2001. And when it seemed like the whole world was falling apart, and all these people were saying different things, and just had so many questions. And so one of the things I said is, what do I teach my son? One of the things I asked was, what do I teach my son about the world? If there's one God, why is there so much violence? If Jesus preached peace and brotherhood and do unto others, why all the wars and everything since then? Why slavery since then? Why all this stuff? And then that led me eventually to the Quran. I read some other books, touched on them, but for whatever reason, I could see similarities in all religions. The Ten Commandments are there in all religions pretty much, except for maybe the Sabbath part. But all no religion teaches you can go ahead and steal, you can go ahead and lie, you can go ahead and have adultery, you can, so all the same principles, karma, same thing within the Gospels, you'll reap what you sow, do unto others as you've had done unto you. It's all good stuff from the same Lord, sent to different people at different times, but I didn't see that at that time. So then I got tunnel vision with Islam, and narrow-minded with it for a while, and then I guess what started my questioning what was going on there is when I learned that the family members of the Prophet had been murdered by believers, people who said they loved the Prophet. And so that started me questioning there. So then I started following Shia Islam, 12er Shia Islam. And, so I didn't actually get tunnel vision there where I didn't denounce Sunnis and stuff and everything. It's just okay. We all believe the Prophet. We all believe the Quran. They're just not aware of what happened in the Prophet, had designated Ali as the person to lead the faith. But you can clearly see, because they did go astray and not follow the people he designated, that within Islam, Christianity took the same wrong turns, and people used the religion for power and wealth and etc., what have you. But it's like in the Gospels, it says all things will eventually, even if they go awry, will eventually lead back around. The will of God can't be stopped, even though it's like what's it, that song, Zeppelin tune, it's 10 Years Gone. No. But he says, talking about rivers, though their course may change sometime, Rivers always reach the sea. So all things will eventually work to the good of God and His plan, even though we can't see it. And bad things happen. Maybe that bumps people out of their comfort zone, and then they go looking for what is right and what's good. So I guess the point I'm trying to make about that. But I just want to say it's been a process, and sometimes when you're going on this process and you're going on a search, you always feel like you're one step behind, kind of sometimes, and that can get you down. But then there are times when you start making connections and stuff, and you start, like I said before in another one, it seems like contradictory. God says, seek Him, know Him, worship Him, and then you have other verses that say we cannot know His ways. Who can search His ways? He is far above us. He doesn't think like us, and we cannot fully comprehend His magnitude of being able to create just by speaking, to bring matter into being and create the universe. And scientists say, oh, that's not possible. Well, I believe it is possible, a lot more than I believe a tiny speck of matter. It's a tiny speck of antimatter all on their own, and who created the matter and the antimatter is a question you're gonna have to answer too. But you're free to believe totally in science if you want to, like I said, as long as you're not pushing same with that, science and stuff, and as long as you're not forcing it on people, and still allow people to have faith and believe in God, then that's your prerogative. You have your own beliefs. The same with religion. The Quran says there's no compulsion in religion. You're free to believe what I believe or not believe what I believe. You can believe another religion, whatever you want. But in the end, it all goes. It started anyway. From messengers that there's only one God. So you having another religion does not upset me. But anyhow, on that journey and everything, I learned through Shia Islam about the Mahdi, and started watching a lot of Islamic scholars talking about the end and this and that. But there was always something like in the back of my head of because both Muslims and Christians believe the return of Christ and stuff and everything, and the Christians have this big grandiose thing they adhere to, evangelicals do anyway, with the rebuilding of a temple and all that. And Muslims also have a big grandiose eschatology for a lot of the Islamic scholars you'll see on YouTube and stuff and everything. But there was always a thing, Jesus said, I come as a thief in the night. And so I always thought, well, what if He did come back? I mean, even back when I was a Christian, what if He did come back way back when? And it wasn't this worldwide event that people around the whole world are going to know it all at once. What if, it happened and, stuff. So that was always there. And then I came across the Baha'i faith, which... at first having my Islamic teachings and narrow-mindedness, or my understanding of it, was in kind of a confrontational banter on YouTube through the comment section with this Baha'i person, and thank God for him or her. I forget what the name was, but thank God for them, and giving me information to look at. And I looked at the information, and I found that a lot of prophecies and hadiths were fulfilled in the 1800s about the coming of Christ and also of the Mahdi. So that's just want to point that out to people who wonder where I'm at in my religious beliefs, because that's always a part of anyone for running for president's questioned about. So I believe in freedom of religion wholly. I would never try and force my views on anybody. I believe in that. I believe eventually humanity will reach a point, God willing, where there's no more wars, where we all see we are all human beings We are the same, even though we can be different, and that individuality is allowed, and we don't all have to be homogenized. Our cultures, our historical traits do not have to be totally erased. We do have to learn to live with each other on the planet, not kill each other over resources and political views and this and that, and try and force our, hey, if there's countries over there, wherever they're at, and they're socialist or whatever, and they're happy with that, I've got no problem with that if that's what they chose. But here in America, what we're based on and what works for us and what has worked clearly, our Constitution and what people believe in and everything, we can believe that too. And neither side should try and overrun the other unless, there's clear evidence like Nazism. If in Germany they had wanted to be Nazis and this and that and didn't throw people in the ovens, the Jewish people, and they weren't racist that way, and if they didn't suppress religion and persecute people of religion and stuff, they just had their socialist party there, and they didn't go to war with their neighbors and stuff. Who cares if that's what they all chose? So it's when people try and export something that's cancerous to other places. That's where when somebody like Hitler stands up and says, I'm gonna force this across the board here to the whole world, and we're white supremacists and this and that, then the world has to buck up and confront bullies like that. So I believe each nation, as foreign policy wise, has a right to their own individuality, and that we can reach agreements that trade that are free and fair, neither side needs to sell its people out, or I don't believe in we need to line with foreign aid and stuff, line pockets of tyrants and dictators and stock them up with military crap just so our corporations can have access to their lands and stuff and everything. We need to find more equitable, peaceful ways for everything, for even life in this country. The policies I'm talking about, if you look at whether you agree with them or not, hey, point out to me, instead of just yelling slogans and stuff, or oh, that's wrong, or whatever. Hey, talking about changing labor laws and stuff. I'm just throwing the concepts out there that maybe there's things we can do to make things more fair and equitable for everybody. It doesn't matter what color your skin is. I'm not talking about policies, or making laws that just affect one group of people. Let's look at the foundations, the nuts and bolts of the country, and what affects people's lives. How do we lower taxes? How do we make sure people who are disabled and severely disadvantaged in life get the help they need without creating this whole welfare system where people just drop out of society and live off the dole and sit around, drink and get high and everything, and make babies that they're not going to take care of. And how do we educate people, this and that and everything? There are certain things as a society we need to fund, and instead of just taxing the hell out of everybody and saying, oh, only you people are going to pay for this, the bulk of this, and you're going to work the first 3 months every year just to pay your taxes, or 4 months. That's wrong. We need to look at what things basics we need to do, and you can't just throw like this Obama, we're going to change the whole thing at once. No. Hey, we can do this. Here's what we can do, and this is how we can fund it. Okay, that's taken care of. Let's move on to the next thing. Maybe it only takes care of, let's say, child health care till the time somebody's 18. Hey, maybe we can fund this way and just pay for that, whatever. We got to, and like I said, one of these is going to be, how insurance companies work, and and that whole thing, and because there is a business involved in healthcare. Whether you look at the pharmaceutical companies, the hospital system, and the primary one, the health insurance business. I mean, it is a business. They take your money, tell you they're going to provide certain services and cover you on certain things, etc., whatever. And are there ways to bring those costs down and this and that? And they, what they do with your money is, you ever thought about it? How they even, because it's like a Ponzi scheme, a pyramid scheme almost, kind of. But they take these little fees from people. Some are not so little anymore, and they're going to provide you with all these benefits for just that little fee a month. I mean, so what you pay in 1 year, one doctor visit, something serious, especially they can end up paying 100 times what you've given them in 1 year out. And it's like, how's that work? So you ever think about it? They get mass money in, they take that money, they invest it, they do things to increase their they use that capital to make more capital, so when they have to pay your doctor bills, they have the money there to do it, and they also make themselves quite a nice chunk of change. So maybe there's things we can look at that whole thing and bring down costs and stuff like that, and make sure those who truly need help and who aren't just freeloading can get the help they need, and not have this everything's free, because it's not free. So everyone's gonna have to pay a little bit here or there some way. So anyhow, we'll look at all those things and look at it from every side and every angle and say, hey, look, what's the most equitable, fair way to do things? And that's pretty much how I would look at everything. If God help us all, I'm elected. So like I say, write in. Get enough write-ins, I will file the paperwork in 2024, declare my candidacy officially, and etc., and we'll take it from there. In the meantime, if you want to subscribe, give the thumbs up. I think we get enough thumbs up, people, maybe politicians who can enact some things right now to make life better. We'll look at someone, hey, maybe that's a good idea. Maybe they'll do. That's all I care about. Get the ideas out there. I don't care if I'm elected and put them in place, or other people look at them and say, hey, we can change things. We can do things different. It is 2020. We need to move forward and stop all this crap that's going on in the country, dividing us. Which my belief is mostly is coming from the left and these people who will do anything, even if it's not good for you or the country, just so they get reelected. So I'm not saying there aren't people like that on the right, but or the right hasn't done wrong. I do think, however, Donald Trump is middle of the road, because he has bucked the war hawks and everything. Even Obama said when he campaigned he was going to get us out of these wars and this and that. He didn't. He increased all over the place. Trump's been true to his word. He's gotten us out of a lot of conflict and stuff, and his foreign policy is, he doesn't believe in going and doing regime change and nation building and all this kind of stuff the way previous administrations, Democrat and Republican, have done, and involved us in all kinds of stuff for no good reason. So my hat's off to him for that, for keeping his word. So that's where I stand. I wanted to touch on those things there, and we'll get to the insurance and all that kind of stuff on another one. Wish you all the best out there. God bless. Adios.